When the villains saw the man open the door and walk toward heaven, they immediately swarmed toward the gate, but what awaited them was a sea of hellish fire. Everyone was terrified by the scene. Then I saw my foster daughter Jenny here. Before I could even talk to her, I was pushed to the front of the line. Then I was labeled by the system as unclassified. This is the tag given to those near-death experimenters, or souls uncertain whether they should go to hell. Then the judge took me to the waiting room. Suddenly I realized Jenny was here too. Meanwhile, my husband Bob had used his job privileges to break into hell, but he searched all across hell and couldn't find me. In the end, Bob was caught by King Yama. King Yama knew he was from heaven, but Bob had broken hell's rules. King Yama could have killed him on the spot, but Bob cried and begged King Yama to give his wife back. In the end, King Yama agreed, but only after Bob had endured every punishment in hell before we could meet. Bob knew how awful those hells were, but to see me, he leapt without hesitation. In King Yama's astonished gaze, he jumped into the boiling lava. Meanwhile, Jenny and I were brought by King Yama to be weighed. The purpose was to measure whether we were guilty. This scale can measure the full weight of a person's sins. If it goes over 50, that means you should go to hell. When they weighed me, it wasn't any more or less exactly 50. At that moment, Jenny broke down and cried, because that meant I definitely didn't deserve heaven, but instead belonged in hell. But right then, I shed a tear of regret, and that made the weight of my sins lighten a tiny bit, although King Yama looked terrifying. The mechanism of measuring sin in hell is more authoritative than in heaven. The judges peered with magnifying glasses, and the results showed the weight was 49.99. In the end, I escaped disaster. Next came Jenny's weighing. The moment Jenny's feet stepped onto the scale, a heavy thundering sound nearly knocked King Yama to the ground. But the needle on the scale didn't budge. The judges couldn't figure out why. Sensing this was bad, I quickly knelt and begged for mercy.
한 번만이라 줍니까? 이 아이에게 사랑을 경험하게 해주세요. 지 아비에게도 학대를 당한 불쌍한 아이였어요. 죄가 있다면 제가 시키는 대로 산 죄밖에 없습니다. 부디 기회를 더 주신다면.
Hearing this, King Yama was deeply moved, so he had no choice but to send us back to heaven for now. And at the moment, Bob jumped into the hell of boiling fire. He was actually transported back to heaven.